Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're at in the world. Zwift Community Live broadcast of the Zwift Racing League race number 1, Neokyo all-nighter. We're out in McCurry and the new Neokyo course, twisty and turny, coming at you fast and furious. It's been crazy racing. A lot of racers making the race on this course. I've absolutely loved it over and over again. I think we've had a different outcome with every race that we broadcast, actually. Yesterday, even Premier Division included, about exactly how the race was won across the board today, Dave.
Sorry.
No worries.
It has been fantastic to watch how it has played out. This course, now, I think a big part of what's made this so awesome has been the structure of the bonuses out there, Nathan. With so many of these intermediate sprints and the rooftop KOM or QOM, it has created so much excitement on the way to the finish line. And I mean, there's a few rides that just really stand out. Earlier today, we watched Rachel Elliott, an OG in this sport, put on a clinic in courage as she took an advantage almost up to 20 seconds and held on to win by 10. But also, Nathan, we've seen some riders thread that needle, haven't we? There's an arcade that the riders go through in the last K. And we've seen a couple riders attacking into the arcade and then holding on for about 500 meters after you come out the backside for the win. It's been incredibly exciting. Yokio is going to become an all-time favorite course.
That is interesting to me, too, what you just explained there, because it's kind of been consistently working, like repeatable. That attack into the arcade or coming out of the arcade seems to be a repeatable effort, perhaps when things are whittled down, though. Amongst the women, we saw that obviously happen in one of the men's races in the EMEA. Some really solid attacks very late in the race.
And
Go ahead, Dave.
let's speak to that, Nathan, because I think it's a really good point. We haven't seen yet a race that hasn't been whittled down, have we? As far as I remember, we haven't seen that
In the
just sit
community, yeah, I would say in the community. What about in the Premier Division, though?
No, those races were aggressive as well. I mean, it is
Yeah,
harder to
interesting.
drop riders out of Premier League pelotons, but even there, we saw. I mean, listen, even Kevin Bouchard Hall got dropped out of the
That's
peloton
true.
yesterday.
That's
And
when you say
I mean,
KBH got dropped, you're talking some serious wattage, right, Dave?
I hate to throw any shade on him. Because, actually, that's a compliment. And he was playing a team role out there, obviously going for early points. And that's really what it's taking. I'm getting excited already, Nathan. This course is absolutely awesome to race on. It favors the brave. You've got to be strong to be there at the end. But going back to your point, with these by the time you get to the last K of racing, I think everybody's on their last thread.
I think so too, with the way that this non-stop, repeatable efforts come at you, and that's really what efficiency in bike racing is all about. That's why you do those huge amounts of hours, right? Is because to repeat efforts back to back to back to back like that is really the endurance side of cycling.
Well, and here we go. First sprint comes already as we're out on course. We'll have plenty of time to talk about all of these exciting.
Anna Russell!
They are.
Anna Russell with the headband! Here she goes. She's got the whiteboard out, going for it, leading out Megan Rathwell. Where's her teammate Grossman is what I'm wondering here, but Russell's going to get taken over, it looks like, by Clark, I think, from ATP. Just nipping that, but Anna Russell with her first debut back in the Zwift Racing League. Did she just get a top 5 in the first sprint she took? Oh my goodness. This is how far out is she from having a baby? This is like postpartum situation racing here. Talk about a monster of a racer here, and also colleague commentating this morning, taking sprints in Yokio in the evening. Loving it, what we got going on here. Clark goes ahead and snatches the points, it looks like, there right at the end. I'm going to see if we can get a replay of that, but pretty cool to see.
Anna Russell is an inspiration to me. She really is. I'm not kidding. What Anna has done, so she's a mom, she's a wife, and just an awesome person. She's also extremely accomplished triathlete, but even more so, she is a very bright woman. And the way she has picked up the broadcasting here, as we have a chance to watch Anna just growing in her skill set, Nathan, you've watched it happen. We were talking about Anna this morning before the broadcast about how impressed we both were. And as you said, it's only a couple of months ago that she had, I think it's her third child. I hate to say I don't know Anna personally as well as I hope to, but I believe. Do you know Nathan? Does she have 3 kids?
I want to say fourth, but
I-
she's probably like, no,
Is it
no, I'm not
okay?
like you, Nathan. I'm not. but not. You know what? I'm also in the um,
She does a good job of.
guessing.
I mean, she keeps her children's life private, which is makes all the sense in the world. So I'm not exactly sure, but she definitely is just a renaissance woman. That's for sure. It's great to see her out. She's on the Riot team. You know we love Christina Grossman, always have, always will. Megan Rathwell, Evelyn Gagnon, like Canyon, and Claire Cameron making up this team. This formerly known as Sarah's TPC. They're now Riot, and they've been one of the big animators out here. As I'm sure we'll be talking more about them. They're as you take a look at, there's a unique no helmet going with the Sinead O'Connor look there. As you don't see that all that often out here. I saw Charlie and Martin uh, proudly talking about the distribution of the ZRL Championship helmets being distributed. Riders will find those if you're on a winning team last season. You'll find those in your garage, and a big congratulations from all of us at Zwift Community
Absolutely
for a great
loving
season.
that in-game bonus that we get to have out here. I want a pretty late night for one of the top new racers here in the ZRL, actually. Chat, if you're hanging out, make sure to bring your chatter coming on through. We absolutely appreciate that. And a huge ride from one of the Beast Mode racers, actually, I noticed yesterday within the top 10, first time in the Premier Division. Gabriel Schumann out here.
Yeah.
I love it when the Premier Divisions show up and cheer on all the community. And I know it's a super late night there, actually, over in Germany. So I think it's got to be like after midnight. Actually, I think it's after 1 a.m. over there. So obviously a very big fan of the Zwift racing and the ladies out here as she cheers them on.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that that's one of the big stars of the future, Gabriella, that we were just hearing from there. So nice to see that. These women have been, well, and just the community in general have been incredibly supportive of each other. I see Rachel Lieberman is back. That's a name I'm going to expect to be talking about, Nathan, on the rooftop QOM. That comes about, let's say, 17K into this 24.5 kilometer race. It's one big lap. It's the longest loop that you can find out in Neokyo. It's always night in Neokyo. Did you realize that right away, Nathan? I had to ask Hannah Walker why they called it the all-nighter, and she's like, because it's always night. I was like, oh, well, there you go.
I actually did. I actually noticed that right away that it was just never going to be morning whatsoever. But it is kind of weird, though, that it's always night here. And then you leave this section and head over to McCurry, and it's daylight the moment that you head over to the rest of McCurry, which is kind of cool gamification factor, actually, because there are a lot of places like that when you are in an open world experience in a lot of video games. You'll have sections that do have that different feel to them like this. And I think it really should never be day in Neokyo with the way that the feel of this city is.
Yeah, Neokyo is a great place unless you're a plant. And then you're not going to be getting much photosynthesis, that's for sure. Although I do see there are.
We're starving all the plants here in Neokyo.
We got another sprint coming up pretty quickly here, folks. The alley sprint. So when I talk about the sprint, because of Zwift, we have you'll see that on the lower right on the road, on the rider's left-hand side, there'll be a little indicator that starts the sprint segment. For people at Zwifting, they like, obviously, these segments are a big part of just gauging your progress and a lot of fun for people. So that sprint segment, we're calling this one the alley sprint, and there's a lot of points here. The fastest through segment that we use in our community, they don't get multiple opportunities to go through it. It's one time out here in Neokyo, but we're about to move back into sprint mode here. Big group together. Actually, this is nice to see. I feel like we're seeing some growth here in America's East for the women. There's the Canadian Yvonne Timewell, Claire Cameron, Kristen Yax. These have become very familiar names. And there you go, Riot, Anna Russell on the attack again. Anna is playing the role of the New Zealand Rabbit out here as she's hitting out one more time. And that certainly should have everybody's attention. Snapping, too.
Here comes, it looks like Yuseni from GLV right here trying to cover that. Now it's going to be the W Sisters over the top. Whoa, huge wattage here, 11.2. Up and out of the saddle from Jane, but it's going to be Claire Cameron from right here trying to cover that move. Will she be able to come over the top? It looks like Claire Cameron going to make it happen. Cameron for the win on that. Grossman settles for third across. But Jean for second there. What a kick from Cameron. Very smart move to grab that wheel and come over the top.
Watch out for Molly Van Houweling moving up to the front right now. Boy, there's a lot of talent in this group. It's an amazing world that we're racing in here. And I think that sprint might have... Woo-wee. Look at this, Nathan. Holy moly. This is brutal right now. Absolute insanity here. We're only 8.6K in, and there's 20 riders that are fighting to keep themselves in contention here. Nathan, we could very well have a jailbreak happening right now. If you're not up in this first third of the field, you are in big, big trouble here.
I have to agree. It looks like there's going to be a split taking place right now at this moment within the ladies' race, as there is a definite two groups here starting to form. I think about 30 riders have made this front group at this point. It does look like that backpack, though, got a little bit of a kick over that 1%, 2% gradient, and we're able to use the momentum over the top there, push some numbers, and get back on terms. We will have another sprint coming up here in just a moment that's just back to back to back. We do have the men's race now just taking off as well. They are 1.6 kilometers into their race. They'll be opening up for their first sprint in just a moment. The ladies here are going to be contesting another one very quickly here as Rachel Lieberman takes over at the front for the CCU I Race Like a Girl team in the Americas East. What an amazing team setup that we have, this brand across all of Zwift racing, the CCU I Race Like a Girl. In the EMEA, they've got representation here in the East. I believe they're going to have something even across the West. So it's awesome to see how many women are representing this crew.
Yeah, that's a program that's really on the move. So around 10K, we've got another sprint. As a matter of fact, they're just about to move into this mode now. So I saw a question in chat about how the points work. There's a lot of bonus points out here today. As a matter of fact, this might be per kilometer the most bonification that we see, and they're already sprinting. So Riot, who's had a
Grossman, she just kind of sat up. I mean, she just kind of, okay, I'll take that. I mean, that was like a full 10 meters.
Yeah, I mean, she's so strong. So we know Christina Grossman is one of the strongest sprinters in the community, and it looks like her legs are coming good, this rider out of New York City. So it looks like a very select group that we're looking at now as they continue to roll it. Riot's got to be happy with the situation. I think ATP would be as well. These women have taken the gloves off. It's just an absolute Donnybrook going on. So it's the Tower sprint coming up next. And this is we're only about another K from going into sprint mode one more time. And here comes Wahoo Lacole. Wahoo Lacole is going to be attacking over the top now. This is just left, right, and center. Attack, attack, attack. As we'll go and take a look at the guys, as they've got, see that little mark there? That starts the sprint zone. And here we go. The sprint the women just did go in the other direction on this path. Here come the guys, and they're coming in hot, Nathan.
Next esports there. Taylor just nipping it at the line ahead of Schaefer from ATP. It looks like, is that going to be a counter over the top there from a Velocio rider? We also have Andrew Ferentz in here, professional hockey player. It looks like hammering away for Velocio. So Velocio with their community team still showing up. Love to see it. Pizza Boys. Yeah, here we go. This is going to get my eye. Who are the Pizza Boys? That's what I want to know. Using the bikes and beer kit. Here we go.
Out of Wales. Yep. Sounds like a fun team. That's for sure. We were talking about Kevin Bouchard.
I am 100% in their corner. Like, I want the Pizza Boys to win now. Like, I don't even know who they are, where they came from, what's this, but is this even a team, or does this guy just want to put Pizza Boys in his name is my question.
Well, I'm not going to stop him, although it does make you hungry right here as it is dinner time. So, Nathan, Kevin Bouchard Hall was talking about, so Velocio, interesting how your success can sometimes create some tough decisions to make, because there's a lot of the riders, that yellow jersey that Velocio has earned in game now after winning the league last year, and getting their promotion up into Premier. You're mentioning Andrew Ferentz. Well, there are some riders that want to stick with racing here on Tuesdays at this time, and it is really cool. Former Boston Bruins Stanley Cup winner in his professional hockey career. And I believe, I mean, he's like 15 seasons in the NHL as well, and been racing for a couple of seasons now with Velocio. So back in with the women because they must have just completed a sprint.
Yeah, they just did another sprint. I mean, this is what we were talking about. It's back to back to back to back, and this is what really puts people, behind the ball. When you have an extra minute or two to just kind of recover, spin the legs out, let that heart rate to come down. But it's that ability. When you get into some sort of training program and people start talking about how quickly did your heart rate come down. When I was in with Kristen Armstrong, and we did that workout series a few months ago, the one thing that she looked at over and over again as a measurement of fitness and a measurement of like where you were at, Nathan, is she would compare her heart rate and how quickly it came down and my heart rate and how quickly it came down. And she was like, Nathan, if you're recovering within this amount of time, you are able to go again and go again and go again. And you're reserving that much more energy because your heart rate is coming down that much quicker, which means you're not burning glycogen, burning energy at that higher rate of heart rate. So that means that your efficiency is higher. What really makes the difference between riders who have put in the work and haven't put in the work? I mean, you've got riders that might be able to throw down 1,000 watts once, but can they repeat it over and over? Later, right? Exactly. And that's what's really breaking this pack at this point.
Well, and one of the most fascinating sports in the world is biathlon. The winter, we've got it coming up in this Winter Olympiad here. And if you look physiologically at the athlete's ability there, because what they're trying to do is exactly what Kristen Armstrong is talking about. You can't shoot accurately with the air rifle that they have if your heart is beating at 180 beats per minute. It's impossible. But bringing your heart rate down quickly is something that only a very special kind of athlete can do. And you'll watch those athletes go from full-on cross-country skiing heart rate at 200 beats per minute and get their heart rate down to 65 beats per minute in a minute's time. Think about that. I mean, how absolutely incredible. And a lot of that is, well, obviously physiological and mental power, too. Speaking of mental power, Megan Rathwell and the Riot team up on the front, they've been doing a fantastic job here as we make our way through the middle part of the race. But that's some really good insight, Nathan. Really
fully expecting Megan Rathwell to head to the front of this pack.
Well, watch out for Rachel Lieberman.
Lieberman as well. Good call there. Good call. We may not have a standout like we saw with,
there's more
Rachel Elliott.
Here.
Yeah,
right.
Rachel Elliott.
These women
there,
are more
but,
evenly.
I'm not sure we're going to see somebody go bottom to top, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody gave it a go after watching what happened in EMEA this afternoon.
And to be honest, Rachel Lieberman out of Seattle would be one of the riders that has the potential. Molly Van Houweling also. Let's go back to the guys because they've got another sprint coming up here.
Back in with the men with America's East. We do have an open up here at that 4% uphill gradient here. People have tried to give it a go, and we have seen it succeed. But with this hard charging pack at this point, I'm not sure that these four riders are going to be able to make it happen. HTFU here off the front just a little bit. Then the orange kids.
They saw BL13 in the video and said, let's give that a try themselves, I think.
Barnes, gap here. His teammates, I think, holding the line for him. He's got over 5 meters, I think, over some of the other riders there. They do not have the draft amount at this point. Continues on at 8-8. It's not a waste
of time. Yeah, I mean, this was, I mean, it might not work out completely, but I give them credit. They're thereabouts on a very slick move here.
And I think these riders who are sitting in behind still going to be able to have a kick, as this is almost a lead out for the rest of them.
He was a booster rocket. He's got one teammate there. Let's see if they can deliver. Do the points in the community, I'm sorry that I don't know this, Nathan, do they score 4 deep as well at these sprints? Is it the same as Premier?
Premier was 10 deep. 10 deep. 10
deep, right. And don't forget, we've got fastest through segment as well in the community here. So there's a few ways to score points. First across the line for the top 10. And that's going to be Noah Balchoff. Well, it looks like Kilborn's going to come with it.
He just pulled it off. And Kilborn, that was all set up for him at that moment there from his teammate a little bit earlier there. HTFU played that perfectly.
He did it.
To set up Kilborn. Yeah, and he sat in, waited, and ended up coming over the top for those 10 points. Amazing teamwork from HTFU. Rule 5, as I like to call them.
I got to say that's what it's all about out here, guys. Sharpening the edge on the sword for sure. So, okay, they've got another sprint coming up very, very quickly here as well, as they'll be hitting a castle reverse. So that sprint that they saw in the first 3K, they're going to be seeing again, just coming back across that line the other direction here. And the women are just probably getting pretty close to rooftop QOM. Or
yeah, real quick, we'll jump back in with them. They'll be hitting the climb here in the actual official Queen of the Mountain in just a moment or two here. We're going to leave this alone for, a moment. Let the men get their sprints done, as the women are kind of Grupo Compactoing it just a tad. Has Anna hung on up to this point is my question. She was saying be on the watch out for my explosion, but she is fully here and fully ready to go, it looks like here.
You're right, Nathan, too. I think that they're kind of backing off just a little bit, knowing that there's a very intense moment coming up in the women's race. It's a short race distance-wise today, but intensity, this might be as hot as they get. Very, very spicy out here.
That's the interesting thing, Dave, is, it's a short race, very short race, but they have been blown to smithereens. It's not like it's been a race situation where it hasn't just completely been splintered. Some people, you think, it's a short race. I've had people say to me now, as we do have Tony Gumble, I got to get this here. Gumble here from Next Esports really showing us how it's done. Over the top. Teammate as well with them. They're going to go 1-2. Next, really with the domination, even in the community.
So this is a new jersey for Next as well. Going to have to get used to this rather than the solid green jersey that we saw last season. Or is it? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just that angle that it looks different.
Well, they had insured added to it's insured is added to it. That's what it is on the side there. That was not always there.
Yeah, they brought that on board. And certainly this is a team that needs no introduction in the world of esports, what they've done. And look at them now, swarming on the front of this race. As a matter of fact, I would be very, very aware that Next looks like they're about to make a big play at this point. We've got another sprint coming up, the Tower sprint for the guys. So many points available in the community. That question is really a valid one. So you've got these fastest through segments, just one of them out here today, but really it's these sprints that are coming at you every 5 minutes. You're sprinting again out here. And that's been the story of this course. Nyokyo all-nighter in full effect here.
Exactly what one of our community members is saying is that it's 40. You've got essentially 40 seconds of extreme pushing, and then you get to ice it for 2 to 3 and go again. So thanks a lot for bringing that comment on in here from Savoy, one of our community members who was racing, I believe, this afternoon. So great to see him hanging out with us. And Thomas, is that Thrall? Mr. Thrall is jumping in on the YouTube. Way. And all of the Premier Division.
Big fan of
now,
Thomas
Thrall. Now, wait a second here. Not only is Thrall here, but, we've also got Kristen Kolchinsky hanging out as well, cheering on Josh, as well as Christina Grossman. All of the top tier are here with us in the broadcast. I'm loving to see the support.
That's great.
And that really speaks to the community that we have is like, you sometimes see this elitism or standoffishness, but no, like all of this community has been built around these broadcasts, and this level of racing is the same thing as what they came up through to be what they are now at that Premier Division level.
That's really
They're actually
awesome.
watching. They might also kind of be watching, like, who's coming? There's a little bit of like.
Do you know Kevin Bouchard Hall is directing the Velocio team right now? He actually was very kind, and I think we should take him up on this, Nathan, to offer to allow us to listen to the direction that he's giving the squad. That's in the men's race. This is the women that we're looking at right now as we make our way into the finale. They're on the rooftop QOM is a very interesting segment. It's been a launching pad for some races and others. What we're seeing right now, the group looks like it's almost just going to be another sprint. Certainly a very tough journey to that uphill sprint. 24.5 kilometers of racing. And this is going to be a big test for that second group, Nathan. You can see that split starting to happen from our helicopter shot here.
It doesn't look like much, but those few meters when you're at the limit, it is the Sahara Desert, really. Tim Well here at the back. This is no joke.
You're moving slow.
Athletes. You're only going, it's like sludge.
You're only going 30 kilometers per hour. The whole Riot team is
no. Yeah, look at this. 1, 2, 3. Grossman, keeping it realist here as well. Anna Russell toward the back now. Cameron's looking to go across, their biggest scoring so far, but it's going to be on the front. GLV, I think, going for a move. This is going to be Yuseni on the hunt for some Queen of the Mountain points. There's Norman's looking to come across from W Sisters there. Rachel Lieberman with the call out from you there, but this is going to be the turnaround. And this seems to be the story with this Queen of the Mountain, King of the Mountain. It's always this last kick, and somebody kind of walks away with it now, as it's going to be Yuseni.
Yeah, this is your breakthrough rider, no doubt about it. She has withstood all the barrage of attacks, and here she is. Welcome to the big time. Take a look at those points very quickly here. You can see Claire Cameron of the Riot team with 52 total is just on a phenomenal ride. Jean with 35, Grossman 32. But this is the story right now. One athlete going big. Now, this may be for the points, yeah, and that looks like they're going to have to respond, and they are, as they'll capture the breakaway and reset things here. Nathan, I think this is a dozen riders that we're looking at, maybe even 11 riders up in this front group right now. What a real selection.
Full blow up too. Look at this, like the separation, that last final kick, everybody that was behind was at their limit, and then there was the kick for the line, which caused a huge amount of separation. And now we really have a lead pack and a chase. As you can see, a lot of the top riders from Riot have been caught out. They are left with Claire Cameron on the chase, actually,
they
3 seconds.
Their hand.
Somerset here needs to work with Cameron to get across, because that is a 4-second crossing here that needs to happen now. Rathwell at the back, maybe trying to slow things down. She is the last one left, I believe, for Riot.
This is amazing. Because, and again, did Riot go out so aggressively and try to dominate and just really clear the table of points out there in all of the early sprints? And are they paying a price? I'd have to say yes.
There's also reality here, Dave. Dave, there's some new blood here, too. Who is Yuseni? Momo Yuseni.
100%.
Level 14. Level 14.
See this coming. No one saw this coming. I have to say that
I'm going to read this out here. Green Line Velo, a Boston-based elite bicycle racing team, coming in from real life, obviously seen.
I know the team.
You know the team?
Yep.
And this is a situation here where we have, hey, what's this esports thing? This is getting real. We got UCI World Championships. Next thing you know, Momo Yuseni putting everybody on the back foot.
Yeah, Green Line Velo. So the Green Line is the train that you take out to like where Chestnut Hill, Boston College is, Comm Ave. But this team has been around for a few years. As a matter of fact, probably talking a decade now. And Momo is a rider that we are going to hear a lot more from. She helped create this situation. That's going to be Lieberman, who we talked about, sitting right in this group. Elliott is here. How about Royal City as well? They're a team that's getting stronger and stronger. Dutch Diesel, I think Molly Van Houweling is still here. Can hear the question mark in my voice as I want to make sure.
She is here. She is definitely here. I did see Van Houweling just a moment ago.
What a select group. And it looks to me, Nathan, like, well, okay, here's the question.
Let's speak this. Here, right here. Look at this, though, Dave. 52, 32. Those are big points already. If Rathwell can pull off a top 3 still, right? Plus, plus Rathwell's already got 10 points on the board. You know, let's see what happens when that Queen of the Mountain comes through. But, you know, a lot is on Rathwell's shoulders at this point as a solo rider in this front group.
So you have to look, Nathan. So, yeah, remembering all of those bonus points. Is there another team that is in a dominant position? Not really in this group. It benefits Riot to see a nice mix. There's one team with two. The sisters are going to be the ones with the black jersey here, with the Radovsk kit there, because we've got Jean at 35 and we've got Normand at 17. Okay, good catch. So that's probably when you look at how and they've got 2 riders up in this front group, Les Watts sisters. This is a Quebec-based team that also has made big moves lately. So, boy, a lot of Canadian flags. Megan Rathwell, you're right, Nathan. I'm just kind of doing some inventory in this group right now. ATP only has the one. Les Watts sisters, yeah, this is a chance. I feel like the door is cracked open. Barbara Frisch is one of the Aeonian has 2 as well.
11 seconds, Dave. 11 seconds. 4 riders very motivated. Russell to the front, 4-2. They cannot sit around. If they start sitting around and looking at each other, they might. But there's only, 2K?
I'm not too worried about that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not too worried. Because they're going to start sprinting any second. There's going to be an attack out of this group as they go into the arcade. I'm not too worried about them being caught, to be honest.
Are they out of sight? 9 seconds. But Riot has to get really intense here at this. I mean, it has to be full lead-out mode, really.
The sprint. I mean, they're going to be, there's only 1K left realistically to close down that gap.
There's just not enough landscape to work with. And if they would have been on the front at like 5 watts per kilogram, a little bit more speed than I'm currently seeing, I would have been a little bit. Look, it's 7 kilometers per hour faster, though. I mean,
they're not playing games, though. They need to be going almost 20. Yeah, well, okay. Either way, this is the group that your winner's coming out of in my mind.
I'm trying to create some sort of tension that's just not a reality. Dave's like, no, this is not happening.
That's not an alternative ending that I'm willing to even consider. But anyways, I'm just kidding. But I do think that this group is going to be the group that sprints for the win here, and I think that there's going to be attack coming out of this group as we go into the arcade, because not everybody here, Nathan, wants to sprint. Molly Van Howling,
1K to go, 1K to go, and they do see 5 watts per kilogram start to ramp up here from Royal City.
This is a unique situation, Nathan, actually. They got rid of all the great sprinters. This is going to be, it's a classic learning lesson here. If you don't want to have the best sprinters around, you have to make a huge effort to get rid of them. In doing so, you end up with a sprint amongst a bunch of people that don't do a lot of sprinting for a living. So
this is true.
So it's sort of a very interesting situation.
As we head into the arcade, we'll have to get a replay for the men, just so everybody knows. We will get the men's King of the Mountain, but we are going to catch this sprint as it looks to open up. I know, it's totally quiet.
Stunned. Yep, so they're all willing to play their cards in this finale, it looks like, going for a sprint. And maybe the thing is, they're all like, well, I might not be the best sprinter in the world, but I'm the best sprinter amongst all of these girls.
It's a good call there, Dave, as I think Rathwell has a chance for this, and that would really put Riot in a really great spot.
It's certainly, she's on a team that has some of the best sprinters in the ZRL. There's your first arrow.
Way too early of a power-up, though. I believe that's going to be a little bit of a low-level move there. As you can see, Yaks now over the top. 8-1. Maybe a slip. I have a feeling, though, level 14, that's just a timing thing from someone who's not used to the reality
that's
of
what I'm
racing
saying.
here.
Right.
Normand over the top. Here we go. W Sisters. They're going to make this happen. Yaks is still off the front, though. Yuseni trying to come over the top as well. Aeonian, is it going to be Normand? Barbara Frisch, though. Aeonian, Rathwell for third, but Barbara Frisch taking it down from Aeonian, making it happen.
But, Normand second for Les Watts Sisters, so always
and if
you
we
can
take
go
a
to
look
WTRL.
here, Dave, look at this. If we speak about they actually have a big jump after the Queen of the Mountain as well. That's not after the last across the line here. So,
holy cow! Les Watts Sisters very well.
They might win the day. Yeah,
yes,
and that is huge. They weren't even in the winning conversation last season.
That is not a fact. That's not a fact. But I'm starting to think Les Watts Sisters with that finale, because for the finish there, how did Megan Rathwell end?
She was third across the line. Third across the line.
It's going to come down to a handful of points here in the opening.
Very close race. Isn't that what's great, Dave? Is that
it's the best.
How close the racing actually is?
Yeah, the ZRL really is hitting its stride this season. We've got 3 brand new courses to race on. Back in with the guys. Oh boy, Nathan, this is already down to 5K to go.
Yeah, right down to it here.
So rooftop KOM.
Rooftop KOM, they just went through it. It was actually Barton who took it down. I was going to pull a replay for everybody, but we ended up recording the women's sprint only, so no replay on the KOM. Apologies to the men. The women, they were just better looking than you, so we left it there. It's going to be Chin here, Mill, Pincus, and then Leclerc here.
Listen, that women's race was a thriller. As a matter of fact, has there been a race today that wasn't awesome to watch? I mean,
no, that's the amazing thing about the Nyokyo here. It's been absolutely great. So great. This and the racers have really brought it today. And I really want to compliment the community on the way that they have tactically been pressing the pace, not sitting around, not just kind of sitting around allowing it, the rice to cook here. Instead, it was like full gas and just make things happen.
I couldn't agree more. it goes back to the start of the day. Racers make the race. And uh, credit to the course design here as well, because having all of these sprints has really added a ton of flavor and created opportunities for teams to try tactic and make things incredibly exciting for all of us. So, well, speaking of exciting, this is the biggest group I've seen all day going to the line, Nathan. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I think you might be right, actually. We
Even
got
bigger than
31. I think around 30 has kind of been maybe on EMEA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But still.
How did we end up with Quigley, Edwards, Mundy off the back? Britain with the pro jersey here. I mean, this is obviously the pace has been insane. ATP trying to get back on terms. It's 8 seconds up. They've only got 4K to go. I think it's not going to happen. No, 3K to go at this point. Lewinstra at the back for Laurel City, and it's 31 racers making the front.
Yeah, Lewinstra here, a fun rider to follow as well. Okay, well, we're locked and loaded. This is not a drill. Big time sprinting coming up. This is group this large. There's got to be an attack through the arcade.
Nobody used a power up there. Did you see that?
Yeah, interesting. They might. Well, I tell you what, if you've
everybody's got what they want. Everybody's got what they want.
Don't get rid of that one, because that'll be the difference out here, I have a feeling. You got to time this sprint perfectly. That's another thing about this course, Nathan, is every single sprint you're racing into the unknown, right? You start sprinting before you can see the line, except for the alley sprint. But all the rest of them, you have to start sprinting just fully bury it before you can see the finish line. And that, I can only think of one race in the United States where you actually start your sprint before you can see the banner.
Is that
Manhattan Beach?
Crybaby? Okay, I was going to think with Crybaby.
No, Crybaby's weird. Crybaby, that hill is it is sort of like that, but the finish line is on a river road that you can see the finish line from 500 meters away.
Look at this attack here. Cannondale, 4i, giving a go. Schwartz following up, and they've seen it too many times, I think, today, where there was an upset that was completely unexpected. There's about 2K to go, not even at this point.
That's pretty much how you do it. Yeah.
Yeah, making the move.
I'll tell you what, Wouter Zwart is a name, though, that sends shivers down the spine of riders. It's actually, if these three can link up and work together, this could be very, very interesting as they open up a little bit again. Here we go.
I think they're going to do it. There's a little lazy on the front here, and 4i are actually shutting the door at the front. As the teammates off here sitting on the wheel of Walter Zwart. Haney's, though, got 1 second. There is no draft. The Zwart is like, come on, we have to close this down now. Now a drafting power-up being used. Barton from Velocio, 2 seconds back. They are not out of sight, though, at this point. But he's got 5 seconds. We've seen it done time and again, but he has to have a lot more than 5 watts per kilogram. Is he going to fade at 184 beats per minute?
We might see Andrew Ferentz take the gold out here today, the NHL star moving up for Velocio as they're going to make a run at it. We're down to, I say down to, it's all in your perspective. The Peloton, I think, Nathan, is going to be okay with the situation as we've got about 1.1K to go. So rapidly coming up on the red kite. It looks like the Peloton is going to make the catch of 2 of the early instigators. This is the man that they've got to bring back into the fold. It's on like Donkey Kong here in Neokyo, Nathan. It's finale time.
I think Haney's going to be caught here. Ferentz on the front, as you said there. 2 seconds is all he's got going in the arcade. He needs about 5, really. And there it is. The catch about to be made. Will Velocio do what they do with their community team and show up? But Noah Balk is there. OTR, very strong sprinter. Be on the watch out for him in the red kit here as La Fuega makes their way to the front. And restart, though, involved. Zwart probably not going to have a whole lot left after the attack off the front now. Here comes Next Esports, though. They're always known for a solid kick to the line, Dave.
Yeah, we've got another real battle coming out of the arcade, and this is it. They will pop orange numbers any second now. It's another Velocio next battle here. You can see all those yellow jerseys, and who's going to try to instigate as it goes full gas now, Nathan. We have got it. The throttle all the way open. Who's going to pull this one off? It looks pretty good for the yellow jerseys of Velocio. And it's going to be Evan Call, or is it? No, it's his teammate Morris, and then next coming over the
John
top.
Brune, of course, it's
Brune!
John Brune taking it
Woo!
down from Next
Nice.
Esports, and I mean,
Great
that's
guy.
that's the guy you want to see over the top for sure. Qualifying for World
Yeah.
Championships on the USA team. Now taking down the first race in the ZRL. That's the start that he wants to see on a course like this, a
working
brutal
hard.
course. And, you know, he's working so hard, and he wants some rainbow stripes, I think, and he's showing he's the man to go after him.
I have a feeling he's reaching for a bucket right now, Nathan, because that was rough. Tough day of racing. John, we're big fans. There is no doubt about it. John recently came on my radar, actually, and he's a family man. He's just an all-around great guy. I don't know if you saw the video that he put up of getting, I think it's his brother-in-law on Zwift to let him experience it. He's another one of those guys that just is an awesome part of our community. And again, American World's team member, finally getting a chance here to show what he's got in this sprint today. But Velocio, Nathan, not a bad day. They got a lot of riders up there into the top 10. And it might have been enough on the team battle, which is how we ultimately keep score in the ZRL. So another season to look forward to with Next and Velocio just having at it out here. And a lot of other teams to talk about as well. The women, fantastic race. This is a great, great day of racing.
Yeah, I believe, see if we can grab a quick little look here at how Barbara ended up taking this down. Yax was on the front. Norman here from W Watt Sisters looking to try and get a kick at 12 watts per kilogram. Look at Barbara Frisch there, 8.8 watts per kilogram actually, sitting in the wheel. If you watch really closely, she's not over the top just yet. And then there's this kick right toward the end. Frisch actually only with 8.7 actually all the way through, 460. Is that a pure wattage situation? I wonder. I'm going to look back here, though, at the watts to watts. If you look in the upper left instead of on the right, a lot of times I watch the orange, and no, it's actually not that. It's just the reality of a downhill with an aero power up timed perfectly. She's got 200 watts less at 8 watts per kilogram, but exactly.
Right. I mean, so that was experience, power, and timing. Well, I guess the timing goes into experience.
I love how you did the three there. Experience, power, timing.
And experience.
And experience.
But, I mean, it was. But we were saying that group didn't have it. There was no Grossman there. There were no crazy talented sprinters. And, I mean, look at this. There you go. I think that really backs up my point. The Argentinian rider, Barbara Frisch there, 3.9 watts per kilo over that 24.5K, significantly less than just about every other rider. Kristen Yax of Aeonian was the only other rider down under 4 up here. So, but Les Watt sisters, they had a tremendous day because Michelle Jean, along with Adele Normand, combined to make this an interesting count back as we look to all of the bonuses to see who's going to be our top team out here today. In the first race of a 6-race ZRL season, we are off to a cracking start.
Looking through to see if we can find some of the results here for the B category.
Wasn't that fun?
Yet. There's tons.
I mean, that is just awesome to watch. This is going to be our Division 1B women that Nathan is calling up now. I mean, they finished this course in 35 minutes and 5 seconds for the win today. Is Maggie Carden of the WTRL Dinos, the B Juicers. Also on the B Juicers team is silver medal winner Alicia Trevino. It's Erin Tolfo taking the bronze. Lauren Kopeck, she's with Herta Butterflies. Lauren Kopeck of ATP Racing Honeybees in 4th for the chocolate medal. Allison Thompson, 5th for Cryogen Marie Blanc. Herta Butterflies also got the pride of Austin, Texas, Carolyn DeFore, up there in 6th. It's Kelly Moritor-Bew of Sisu I Race Like a Girl Freya in 7th. Marcy Cascanet in 8th for WTRL Dinos, and that's 3 riders on the top 10. Caitlin Port, another Canadian, she races for Royal City Cycling WB1 in 9th, and Beth Halford. Oh, Canada. What a nice mix of Canadian and American flags there. As Sisu I Race Like a Girl Freya has Beth Halford rounding out our top 10. Be interesting to see what team ends up with the most points. That's our Bs.
And in the C category, it looks like we're going to have some results here coming on through for Christy Dallaire. 36.59. Looks like it was a breakaway at the final, though, with a half a second or so over A.A. Gerard for Royal City Cycling WC1. Kate Dewey comes on through for third for the No Drama Llamas. We love the No Drama Llamas.
Oh,
Kelly
all-time
Wiggin,
favorite team.
ATP Racing High for fourth. Sarah Ryan there for BWB Femme Fatales there in fourth. What is that flag? That's Bermuda, right? I want to say it's Bermuda.
Yes. Yep.
Thank you.
Although,
Brittany Bailey. Now we're going to double check it. Sixth place there for her for Coalition Eclipse. Diana Moore there for seventh. Nicole Linton for eighth for Royal City. It's going to be Saskia Api for Coalition Eclipse in for ninth. And Allison Carey coming on through in for 10th. In the D category, it looks like we may not have a D category for the East, I think, is what's happening there. The men's results coming on in for us next. And it looks like, I believe we do have them.
Do a quick refresh. And here we go. Congratulations, John. John Brune next, taking the win. As you can see the watts per kilogram, not all that different, are they, than the top women out there today. John, 4.5 watts per kilogram. At 30 minutes and 30 seconds, right on the nose there. Mike Morse ends up for Velocio Trail Mesh taking the silver medal, and Noah Balch for On the Rivet Blur. Great job today, Noah, taking the bronze medal. Laurent Gervais in fourth. Andrew Ferentz, former Boston Bruin, living out in British Columbia now, in Vancouver. Super cool city. Velocio Trail Mesh is his team as well. So they put two in the top five, Nathan. That's going to be very, very important. Look at the watts per kilo. 5 there for Andrew. Noah Balch at 5.3 today. Human wattage cottage for sure. Oliver Dowd. Good to see Ollie Dowd out there for restart. 4.7 for another one of our strong Canadians. Nick Taylor for Next Level in 7th. Nate Klassen, 8th for Pizza Boys. So it was an official team, Nathan. Pizza Boys Racing. Welcome to the big time.
Yeah, can I read real quick? Let
me just wrap that. Tony Gumbel 9th and then Adrian Chin in 10th. Go ahead. I'd love to hear it.
Their description on Zwift Power is a group of BAs who love to Zwift and love the za, brah. And then hashtag in pizza crust. In pizza we crust. In pizza we crust. So that's going to be a new...
Are they all Americans?
That's like a hashtag for me now at this point. I mean, in pizza we crust, yes, except for Reese Edwards, who is a Welsh, and Lewis Henriksen, who's Danish. But Zach Dietz, it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 riders, and it looks like.
Remember how cookies was such a alluring thing for the racers over the last couple of seasons? I'm more of a savory pizza guy. Exactly.
Actually, it was pizza for a little while. I might be going back to burgers here. I don't know what's happening with me, but I need
nothing wrong with the cheeseburger.
Me and Milo are on the burger.
Team burger, right? Let's take a look at the B's here. Actually, I'll throw it to you. I guess I just did the A's, didn't I?
And here are our B's. For Zed Sunset comes on through with a 3.7. He's only a 4/100th of a second over Ned Bowen. Good to see Ned out there. Always awesome in a sprint. And it's going to be Ed Aguao. There for KRTB. Get it nailed. It's going to be Joe Thomas there for Draft B. Andy Kroll coming out of Wisco there. ATP Racing Neon. It's going to be Kurt Jensen for Draft B. Jeremy Leo for On the Rivet Oost. It's going to be Jacques Lecoq there for KRTB. It's going to be Andrew Putt in for 9th for ZHQ Rockets. I'm assuming riding for Zwift HQ. Cool to see there. Stephen Badger there coming on through in for 10th. That's in 32 minutes and 42 seconds, actually. I wonder if the C's have finished up just yet. I don't think we have a C result as of yet. You're going to have to head on over to WTRL.racing to get some of those results, everybody. If you didn't check it out yet and you want to do a recon ride, make sure to check out this Sunday. Rave Con is going to be Team Rave's putting on a recon ride of every Sunday for all of the season. You can jump into the one that I'm going to be doing with them this Sunday. I also want to give a shout out to the Twitch community, specifically if you are looking for highlights throughout the broadcasts, put them together, run them across our desk, shoot us an email or a message, and we are looking to highlight more of the streamers that are out there, your moments in the ZRL. Bring them our way. They'll get into our broadcast here, and we will highlight your channel. Absolutely love what everybody's doing in the streaming that you're doing out there. We want to let everybody know, though, that is going on. So put those together and make sure to send us a message. The high-quality ones we will be putting out there. So next up, Dave, it's going to be me and you again on broadcast for the West. We want to give our shout-out, prayers, thoughts, all that stuff for Kate and her family. She's just got a little bit of a family emergency, so no go for Kate this evening, but it'll be me and Dave back for you with the West. Dave, it's awesome racing. I can't wait for the final here for our broadcast on the day in the New York All-Nighter.
See you in a few minutes.
Sounds good, everybody. Make sure to hit those follow buttons, and we will see you in just a few. As always, right on.